Wanted to do this video showing Andrew Yang's speech just last night in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to go ahead and be dissecting it and breaking it down. Hope that you enjoy. Go ahead and watch.
It's tremendous to be back here in Nevada because this is one of the only places in the entire country where democracy still works the way it is intended. So much of the rest of the country is looking up and they wonder what they can do to change the future, and the future is in your hands. How many of you all are parents like me? Oh, I'm a presidential candidate, yes, but I'm also a dad. I've got two young boys who are 7 and 4, and I'm running for president because of a thought that the parents among us have had and have been afraid to talk about out loud, and that thought is this: our kids are not all right. Our kids are not all right because we're leaving them a future that is far darker than the lives that we have led as their parents, Nevada. Now, most of you think of me as a business guy, but for the last 7 years, I've been a nonprofit guy. I spent 7 years running a nonprofit I'd started called Venture for America that helped create thousands of jobs around the country. And while I was doing that work, I saw firsthand millions of young people who weren't starting families, let alone businesses, because they couldn't pay their bills. I saw hundreds of thousands of young people who were trapped in their parents' basements under a mountain of debt. And I saw record high levels of anxiety, stress, depression, mental illness, even suicides and drug overdoses, to the point where our life expectancy as a country has declined for the last 3 years in a row, the first time in 100 years.
Okay, so him talking about mental health, mental illness, this is one topic that really sets him apart. If you've read his book, The War on Normal People, he dives into it. He talks about how when unemployment is high, how there's greater rates of suicide. So bringing that up, and the fact of people caring about their kids, and how their kids, as the way it's going now, are not going to be all right. Those are big issues that are going to keep attracting people to him. It's encoded in our DNA to want our children to survive and to thrive and do well. We want to see our DNA carry forward into the future, so that's smart of Andrew to be focusing on those topics.
These are the real reasons why Donald Trump is our president today. If you turn on cable news, why would you think he is our president? Some combination of Russia, racism, Hillary Clinton, emails. But if you dig into the numbers, you get another picture, another story. The reason why Donald Trump is our president is that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs. And where were those jobs? Those jobs were in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, and Iowa, all the swing states that Donald Trump needed to win. And that automation wave is now coming right here to Nevada.
Okay, a lot of good things that he just barely said. So often the media, they make it seem like racism is the primary reason why Donald Trump got elected. This is something Bernie's written about, how the media is owned by billionaires and they don't go into the real reasons behind things. He was elected in large part because of the economy, because of economic uncertainty. There's a reason why the Rust Belt states that Andrew Yang just mentioned, why they all voted for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary, and then they turned around and voted for Trump. It's because they didn't feel that Hillary really cared about them. Hillary was taking a lot of money from Wall Street. There was nothing to indicate that Hillary Clinton really cared about the average working class white factory worker.
Nevada. You are number one in the entire country for the proportion of jobs that will be lost to technology in the months ahead. And it is already happening. How many of you have noticed stores closing where you live here in Nevada? It's not just you. 30% of America's stores and malls are closing. And why are they closing? That's right. One word answer: Amazon, soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. And how much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? That is the math, Nevada. 20 billion out, 0 back. Most common job here and in most of the country is retail clerk. The average retail clerk is a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $10 an hour. What is she going to do when her store or mall closes? Cry. We act like Donald Trump's the cause of all of our problems. He is not. He is a symptom. He's a manifestation of the fact that we're going through the greatest technological shift in our country's history, what experts are calling the fourth industrial revolution. When is the last time you heard a politician say fourth industrial revolution, Nevada? Just now. And
even though a lot of politicians are intellectuals, he's going to bring up a good point in a minute, which is that they're not necessarily leaders. You don't hear politicians talking about the fourth industrial revolution because they aren't always ahead of the curve. Andrew Yang, based on his studies, based on his education, based on his experience, he is really ahead of his time. There's a lot that indicates that idea.
I am barely a politician. And apparently some of you are not mad at that. So you have to ask yourself, how did someone you never heard of 8 months ago rocket to sixth place in national polls? How did someone you haven't heard of 8 months ago raise $10 million in increments of only $30 each last quarter? And the answer is this. I know what the real problems are and how we can solve them, how we can move the country forward. And it's up to you, Nevada, to present a new way forward for the rest of the country. Now, what is that vision? If you're here tonight, at some point you heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone in the country $1,000 a month. And the first time you heard that, you thought it was a gimmick, too good to be true, but this is not my idea, and it is not a new idea. Thomas Paine was for this at the founding of our country, called it the citizen's dividend. Martin Luther King fought for this in the 60s, called it the guaranteed minimum income for all Americans, and it is what he was fighting for when he was killed in 1968. It passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1960.
So him bringing up the Thomas Paine and Martin Luther King, keep in mind the wealthiest individuals in the nation, they are fine with Martin Luther King being portrayed as a hero for fighting for racial justice. They do not want him portrayed as a hero for fighting against economic justice. There's a reason why that's not taught in school. Trust me, I'm a history teacher, and I can tell you that that's not in textbooks. He lays out a list on his website. He has other individuals that have supported some form of universal basic income, such as Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders, Milton Friedman, Richard Nixon, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. All of these individuals, he's done the research and shown that they support some form of universal basic income.
1971, and then 11 years later, one state passed a dividend where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? And how do they pay for it? And what is the oil of the 21st century? Technology, data, self-driving cars and trucks. Our data is now worth more than oil. How many of you got your data check in the mail last month? And where did those checks go? They went to Facebook, Amazon, Google, and the trillion-dollar tech companies that are paying zero or near zero in taxes. These are the rules that we need to rewrite. And I want you to think about what $1,000 a month would mean in real life in your communities. $1,000 a month would be the difference between being able to retire with dignity or working until the day you die to make ends meet. $1,000 a month would mean less stress, fewer arguments with your spouse, not having to choose between car repairs or food for your kids. There are a number of people here tonight.
Okay, he brings up that universal basic income would mean people are fighting less with their spouse.
Giving $1,000 a month to families around the country for a little.
Sorry about that. This is a huge point to bring up because a lot of marital struggles are because of finances. It's about couples not having enough to make ends meet, and so they are fighting about little things financially. If the wife spends too much money on shopping in the guy's eyes, he might be upset about it. Or if the guy is spending too much on hunting or something else that isn't necessary in the woman's eyes, they fight about it. If each household that had two parents was receiving an additional $24,000 a year, there would be far less marital stress, and also kids would be being raised in two-parent homes at a much higher rate. So a lot of good benefits to that.
A while now. Yeah, people like it. I highly recommend it if you've got the wherewithal. And in real life, they're here with us tonight. Actually, stand up or raise your hand if you are one of the people. Oh, thank you all. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so what it means to Cheryl, it means being able to take care of her ailing mom. For Michael, it's buying 34 notebooks for his 5th grade students. For Angel, it's being able to take care of his little siblings while his mom is recovering. So these are the things that $1,000 a month means in real life to us. This is the trickle-up economy. From our people, our families, and our communities up. And this is the vision that you can make real, just like this, Nevada. Donald Trump is our president in part because he got some of the problems right. He said he was going to make America great again, and then what did Hillary Clinton say in response? America is already great, and that did not work. He said that these were the problems of his...
Okay, the point he brings up, that did not work. That's essential. That's one of the main reasons why Donald Trump won. Hillary Clinton saying America was already great. America was working really well for some people, but a lot of people were getting left behind in our economy. And that was the group that she wasn't focusing on. And that's a group that Bernie Sanders is focusing on, Andrew Yang, and even Elizabeth Warren as my third candidate. They are all focusing on this populist economic message more, and that is what is going to help them win. Donald Trump feigned and pretended that he was going to help these people. Maybe he tried, but Andrew Yang actually has the knowledge to be able to do so.
His solutions were the opposite of what we need. He said we need to build a wall, we need to turn the clock back, we need to bring the old jobs back. Nevada, we have to do the opposite of these things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society as quickly as possible, and we have to evolve in the way we think about ourselves and our work and our value. Because right now we're measuring our economy through GDP and corporate profits. Instead, we should be measuring them by how our kids are doing, our mental health and freedom from substance abuse, our wellness and life expectancy. My wife is at home with our 2 boys right now, one of whom is autistic. What does GDP say her work is worth every single day? Zero. We know that's perverse. We know that's the opposite of the way it should be, and we can change it. You can change it. So Donald Trump made these arguments, and he convinced many of our fellow Americans because he was the only one talking seriously about the problems. We need to join them in that. The reason why I'm here with you all tonight is not because I fantasized about being president. I'm running for president because I'm a patriot and a parent, and I've seen the future that lies ahead for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept. And before running for president...
When he says that, I truly believe him. I believe, based on his background, working for an LSAT company, working or like an LSAT test prep company, and working for Venture for America, like I believe him when he says that he didn't want future generations to have to inherit these problems. And he's a patriot and he's a father. He wants to create a better world for his kid and a better world for society. I genuinely believed that, and if you question it, I encourage you to go and read his books. The War on Normal People and Smart People Should Build Things.
And I went to our leaders in Washington, D.C., and I said, we are scapegoating immigrants for something that immigrants have nothing to do with. Technology is ripping our communities apart. How are we going to help our people transition? And the people in D.C. wanted nothing to do with it. They don't want to talk about a problem they do not have a solution to. But one person in DC said something that brought me here to you all tonight. He said, Andrew, you're in the wrong town, because DC fundamentally is not a town of leaders, it is a town of followers. And the only way we will do anything about it is if you create a wave in other parts of the country and bring that wave crashing down on our heads. And that is why I'm with you all tonight. I'm with you all tonight because we must be that wave. We must create a new way forward for the rest of the country. To be able to look our kids in the eyes and say to them with truth in our hearts, your country loves you, your country values you, and you will be all right. Let's make history, Nevada. Let's let the country know it's not left, it's not right, it's forward, and that is where you are going to take the country in 2020. Thank you.
Yeah, the last part's powerful, explaining how the politicians in DC, they were able to rise to the top of some kind of system. That doesn't mean that they necessarily even understand the system. It doesn't mean that they are innovators, that they have the answers to move society forward. Him saying that that's the reason why he's there, and that we can take control of this country for the better. If you like this speech, if you like history and politics, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be coming out with more. Andrew Yang and Bernie, those in my opinion are the top candidates, the candidates that are looking out for the average person. Elizabeth Warren is my third. The others, in my opinion, are not going to be able to do as good of a job. They're not going to be looking out for the average person to the same extent. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.